allow the Roach to come back
I mean Tank.
and Tank. Tank. And I'm gonna tell you like this: Roach got the momentum going into if they have a rematch, and that's what should be next. It shouldn't be all this other bullshit that Tank's team is trying to do. Make the fight right away. The fans want to see it. There's no need to narrate. What do you call it? Squeak. What is it called? Narrate.
Marinate.
Yeah, marinate for a long time. No, everybody wants to see that fight again and see what we're gonna see what he's all about. And I'm not saying that, like I said, Tank's not a tough dog. I'm just saying like this fight right here.
It showed a lot.
Showed a lot about the heart and grit that motherfucking Roach has, and it also shows that Tank, a lot of weaknesses in Tank's game. He took it for granted. He took the opponent for fucking granted. Whatever it's called. You don't take nobody for granted. You go in there and if you did what you're supposed to do, we'll be talking about this.
All right. Pops, we're gonna switch gears for a second because it still pertains to Tank. So shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash the like button, get your comments, and we'll get to you guys eventually. But now, I've seen a lot of the Shakur Stevenson fans flapping their gums and say, see, this just shows that he can't be Shakur. So, Pops, what do you think about? Do you have any updated thoughts on Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson? Do you have any updated thoughts on that?
First of all, you can't compare Roach, right? Roach to Shakur or Shakur to LaRoche. Two different persons, two different fighters, and you don't know what type of mentality they're going to come into the fight. Me personally, the way Roach came into the fight and stood there and hit and it got into the pockets was great because it showed Tank that he could take it. I've not seen that from fucking Shakur. I've seen Shakur sit there inside the game in the shuffle, the fucking Philly shuffle, and just stand there and look. That's all he does. He fucking look. He don't throw enough punches for me to say. He doesn't do that. So don't sit here, and I like Shakur, but I have to call what I call it. Don't all you fanboys for Stevenson say, oh, this no. Because Stevenson, I've seen a lot of fights where he just stood there and didn't answer back any kind of shit. He just stood there in that fucking defense and think that's going to win him the fight. That didn't happen with Roach. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't agree with what the fans are saying that Zappa will Shakur. No, please don't even compare it.
How about Keyshawn Davis?
I don't know, man. That
now people.
Keyshawn Davis.
I thought Keyshawn Davis could beat Tank before the Roach fight.
Yeah, I think Keyshawn Davis will give a run for his money to Tank, in my opinion. The reason I say that is because Keyshawn will come forward and he will throw. My issue with Shakur is
he doesn't have any offense to keep.
He doesn't throw or push the opponent back as much as he did. He doesn't do that. He thinks. I get it, but he has that defensive thing like what's his name?
Pernell. He's not like Pernell.
No, he's not like Pernell. But I'm saying
Pernell has some offense.
No, right. I'm just gonna get that. Pernell throws offense. That's my question with Shakur. I don't want to hear what Shakur could have done, should have done, how to do it, when to do it, because he fucking hasn't done it yet to get my point across. That if he goes in there with Tank, he's gonna get beat.
I hear you. Well, you got any thoughts about Tank and Calvin Ford?
Man, that something happened there. It's like a father and son. I relate to them as you and I, father and son. And sometimes the father keeps giving you advice, and at times you don't want to take it. So at some point they must have a big discrepancy that they both didn't agree on. And so the son, because he's got the power, because of the power of switching trainers, and the father, because he has the maturity and the wisdom not to waste his time arguing with somebody that doesn't want to listen. I don't think it was right. I think it affected the fight towards Tank. Not having the voice that's always been there for you is like having the voice that passes away and dies when your father or your trainer dies, and the fighter goes into a fight and then it's not the same because that voice is not hearing the same words of wisdom from that voice. So for me, when you do a change as big as Tank did, it did affect him, in my opinion. Even though Barry knew him for a long time and blah 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 blah, not the same. Not the same. He's there, yeah. Tank cleared it up. I said he's there, but you still even see Tank in the corner of this fight arguing in the middle of a fight in the corner, going back and forth. You can't do that. You go in there with a game plan. You get the respect. So, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think Tank made a bad decision and it cost him the fight.
And his reputation for the time being, until he goes in there and gets it back in blood, has taken a massive hit, and he has lost a bit of that that aura, you know.
Yeah, and the crazy part is people are a lot going to argue and say, "Oh no, but they're both portraying what they're working along." It's not the same. It's not the same. You had a fight with your dad, and now you brought in your fucking uncle that's been on the team for the longest time. Now you want him all of a sudden after 30 or 20 some fights that you've been winning.
You want to change the whole script.
You want to change it. It's like having music with singing a song without the right music to it to fit in. The same thing with this. You took the music out of the song, which was Calvin Ford being the part of the music with the song, to Tank, listen to him and do everything just because you acted like a baby, Tank. It cost you your fight like it did like it did in the Roach fight. You were arguing back and forth. You can't do that.
For sure. Shout out to everybody here rocking with us. It's your boy BT with Pops, the untouchable True School Sports Empire live. Early in the morning, 11:33 a.m. Eastern, 8:33 Pacific. What is it? 10:33 Central. And shout out to my man right here from Japan. Shout out to all the Japanese people here. You know, I got a lot of fans in Japan, a lot of viewers in Japan, so I appreciate you guys. God bless. Apollo says Tank's loss was to a trade pick. Lamont Roach is nowhere near the caliber of Shakur. Come on now, Pops. This is just Tank. This just exposed Tank. It did expose Tank. I think it exposed Tank, but I'm not gonna sit here.
I'm not.
They have look. Shakur has. I think Shakur has more talent than Lamont Roach. He does, but he's a different type of fighter. He's not gonna like the way Lamont Roach was having success against Tank. That's not what Shakur does. Nope. If he were to beat Tank or have success, it's gonna look different. He's not gonna be in there.
And I agree what you're saying. That
might actually even be a boring fight.
And I agree what you're saying that Shakur is in a different level than Lamont Roach. Right? You're right about that. But that's not my question. My question is, will Shakur answer the bell when it comes time to? And that's the point. Will he go ahead and throw punches when he's supposed to throw punches, or he's gonna stay in that Philly shuffle and that defensive stance the whole fight? How many fights that I've watched where he don't throw no punches, when he's right there, throw your fucking punches. Why are you letting him just punch you? Connor, do something. And that's my point. So yes, I agree with you that Shakur's in a different level than Roach, but Roach has more by heart and throws punches. Throw your fucking punches, Shakur. That's what I'm getting at. That's my argument. Don't stand in front of a fighter. Don't throw punches.
Lil T says, "What are your thoughts on Haney versus Tank?" That ship is still that fight's never happening. Devin Haney's a welterweight now. Tank's at 35, so they're never gonna fight. Yeah. If they would have fought at 35, I think Tank would have beat the brakes off Devin. Mm-hmm. Honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the. I mean, I know you really don't like Devin, but like I'm never waiting the biggest on Devin.
Those are old fights are like bringing up.
That's the crazy thing about the Tank situation is like he's picked opponents so carefully, right? That now all the guys that he could have fought, have all moved up. T.O.'s at what? He's at 40. Yeah. Ryan's at 47. Devin's at 47. So really, the only fight that does make sense is Lamont Roach because all the other guys are higher weight classes.
And I will say another thing that you always say, BT, when the fire is burning in the division where there's time to make the big fights before the guys get older or tear off. You know what I mean? Like Lomachenko. When the fights, all these fights before the Guy Kings or whatever you want to call them, at the 135 were there. All these fights were not being done. And sure, we know the politics of the promoters, the managers, that cost, in Tank's case, a lot of the fights, I will assume. But that's not the case. We waited too long. That's what my son says all the time. Like right now, we were talking about the Japanese fighter, and Brendan was like, "They gotta make these fights now because when you wait too long, the fighter's prime is gonna be gone."
There's no such thing like I get. I was talking about that earlier. I get frustrated when I go on these little rants about like Inoue taking forever to go to featherweight, and then people always want to say, "Well, BT, his plans are he's gonna fight this fight on this date, and he's fight this fight on that date," and like I don't like fighters talking about fights. Like nothing is for certain. There's no such thing as plans. There's no such thing as plans in boxing. The only plan that is in place is your fight that you have in front of you. That's the only plan that matters, right? So I'm a big proponent of like you gotta strike with the iron hot, and I feel as though that what's happening with guys like Tank and just everywhere in boxing, not just Tank. Is these guys take forever to do what they gotta do. They want to marinate shit. They want to be like they think they're smarter than they really are. Like, no, get to it. I understand there's a business. Sometimes fights do need to marinate a little bit, but like there is such a thing as over marination. You gotta get to it as quick as possible because we live in the social media era. Things move quickly, and you gotta find ways to stay relevant in the biggest and best fights possible in as a timely manner as possible.
Yeah, and I work with BT. Things change so fast in boxing, like the blink of an eye, that you might be talking about a topic today, and maybe in 3 hours of
it's old news.
It's old news. So the same thing happens with all these old fights that we want with Devins and Tank and Lomachenko and whatever and this and that. Those fights are long gone because the guys are gonna get older and move up in divisions like that. So we lose those fights that we really wanted to go see.
Shout out to Carl Hansen. He says, BT and Pops, fellas, hope all is well. Shout out to Carl.
Bless you.
Out there in Australia. Hope all is well with you, champ.
God bless you, granddaughter.
Yes. But look, y'all can keep commenting on Tank if you want. We'll get to it. But look, I want to switch gears yesterday's press conference, Pops. We had a press conference in New York